This video is gonna get me canceled. I can already tell. You know, I had a great run. Hey guys, what is up? It's HVL Manga here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now today's video is going to be very controversial, so buckle in, boys and girls. So today I am going to be talking about manga that I've dropped. So basically what that means is either I've read the entire series or part of the series and I just really didn't enjoy it / really wanted to keep it in my collection. So basically that's what I'm going to be talking about, but I just wanted to say right off the bat, my opinions are not objective truth. So basically, if you like this series, good. I'm glad that you do, and I'm also not saying that these series are just objectively bad. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just my opinions. Just because I don't love a series doesn't mean that you can't love it. We all have opinions here, and I think that's good. It makes our collections unique. So, you know, that disclaimer aside, let's get right into it. This is my top 10 manga series that I've dropped. So the first manga series that I dropped is Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. Now this is starting off controversial right off the bat, so let's talk about it. Basically, I decided to pick this series up because I loved the hardcovers. I genuinely think that this series has one of the best covers in the game. It's really great quality. The detail, the art is just overall really, really good. The page quality is also thick and glossy and just overall has a really good feel to it. But when I started reading the manga, I realized I had no idea what's going on. Gundam is like an entire universe, and I had literally no context for the universe or the world or what anything meant. So I genuinely think going into the Gundam universe blind by going into Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, the manga, I think that was the wrong move. I think if I had more context for what Gundam is and kind of the story behind it, I probably would have enjoyed the manga better, but because I didn't have that context, I was just hecka confused the entire time. And I had volumes 1 through 3, I read them, I just didn't understand what was going on, so I decided to drop the series. I know a lot of people really enjoy it, and I'm sure it's a great series. Honestly, I picked it up because it was one that I thought that I would like, but because it was so confusing and I had no other context for the universe, I was so confused. What was going on? So the next manga series that I dropped, another very controversial one, that is Hunter x Hunter. So Hunter x Hunter is a highly regarded series and anime in the manga and anime community. Basically everyone knows about it, and honestly Hunter x Hunter was one of the first animes that I ever watched. And because I really enjoyed the anime and just overall had a really good experience watching it, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still stuck on that freaking ant arc. Why is that so long? But because I enjoyed the anime so much, I decided to go ahead and pick up the manga. And what I realized once I picked up volumes 1 through 10 was a couple things. One, honestly, the art wasn't my favorite. There were some panels in Hunter x Hunter that had really amazing, really detailed, and really nice artwork. But then some of the other panels, what was going on? Just overall, I would say for me, the lack of consistent, really good art throughout the series kind of turned me off, because art is honestly one of the biggest components for me when picking up a manga. If the art isn't good or if it just is off to me personally, I'm not gonna really enjoy the series, because honestly, art in a manga is like 50% of the story, right? The next reason was because honestly the anime of Hunter x Hunter was enough for me. I really enjoyed the anime. I thought it depicted the story well from what I've heard from you guys and from other people online. And honestly, I just prefer Hunter x Hunter in the anime format. Again, not saying that the manga is bad. The manga is what made the anime what it is, obviously. But I just decided that I'm going to enjoy Hunter x Hunter in only the anime format. So Hunter x Hunter, I enjoy it. The manga is not necessarily my speed, but again, controversial, I know, but Hunter x Hunter was the second series that I dropped. So number 3 honestly kind of takes on a similar story as Hunter x Hunter. The third manga series that I dropped was Decoy, Love is Hard for an Otaku. So I actually have a couple reasons for this series. Number 1, honestly, I mean, it's a really cute, relatable story, especially because it's adults. But honestly, if you guys know my collection, or if you've seen my collection tour video, which if you haven't, link in the description box down below, check it out, you would know that I hardly have any romance in my collection. My collection is mainly seinen, and I honestly really like to keep it that way. Even aside from manga and anime, you know, the TV shows that I watch, or the movies that I watch, or just the books that I read just in general, I don't really read romance stuff. I mean, if there's romance in the story, that's one thing, but when it's surrounded, or when the concept is around a romance, you know, type of theme, I really just tend to not enjoy it. I don't know why, that's just a personal thing for me. So I picked up Wotakoi because I heard good things, and I still think it is a decent series, but romance really isn't where I really like to thrive and like to keep my collection. Another reason why I dropped Wotakoi the manga is because I watched Wotakoi the anime, and I actually, again, like Hunter x Hunter, I enjoyed the anime more than I did the manga. I thought the manga was kind of confusing at points. I'm not entirely sure why, but I was just kind of confused. But I think the anime did a really, really good job. I really enjoyed the anime. It's a cute, nice series. So again, like Hunter x Hunter, I just enjoyed Wotakoi in anime format, so I decided to sell it. But again, Wotakoi, it's cute. I just prefer it in the anime format. So this next series is also very controversial, and honestly, this is one that I would argue that I regret selling as soon as I did. That series is Ajin Demi-Human. Now this one, you're probably sitting and thinking to yourself, what? Like, boy, it's literally right up your alley. How could you not love it? So I kind of have this rule in my collection. If I haven't picked up a series or haven't gotten to a series about a month after I bought it, or if I've read volumes in a series and I don't go back to the series after I've read a couple volumes, I need to sell it because I probably won't get back to it, and that's honestly what happened with Ajin. I read volumes 1 through 3 probably when I first started collecting. It was one of the first series that I picked up, but then I just found myself, you know, as months have passed, I never went back to it, and honestly, I don't really know why I didn't. Again, that's like a series that I would enjoy, like it's right up my alley, but I never found myself going back to it. Another reason why Ajin was kind of hard for me was because they are so expensive for the content that you get. Like, it's not a thick book. I mean, it's like shorter than normal, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's just shorter, and there's not a lot of content to it, and it was like $13, $14, and you're probably thinking to yourself, go away if that's your reason. And honestly, I would agree. That's kind of a bad reason, but honestly, in a weird way, I couldn't justify spending that money on a series that was just okay to me and was expensive as it was. I actually had volumes 1 through 10, so I had a majority of the series, and I actually ended up selling them off, but Ajin is one that I do kind of regret. I might later down the road pick up more volumes and pick the series up again, but at this point, I just didn't get back to it in, you know, a reasonable amount of time, so I decided it had to go, and yeah, I do kind of regret that one, I'm not gonna lie. So the next manga series that I dropped is also kind of controversial. That is Samurai Executioner. So the main reason why I actually picked up Samurai Executioner was because I was able to find, or my friend was able to find, an entire lot of the series for a really, really good price. And I picked it up because I'm like, you know what? It's cheap. That is a bad mentality to get into, people. I picked it up because it was cheap, and I knew it was also by the same creator that did Lone Wolf and Cub, which Lone Wolf and Cub is a series that I really want to get into, but I'm holding out because I really hope Dark Horse releases a deluxe. That's where I'm at with Lone Wolf and Cub, in case you wanted to know. So I basically picked up Samurai Executioner because it was cheap, and when it came in, I read the first volume, and honestly, I didn't love it. And I think the main reason why I didn't love it was I didn't like how short the volumes were. Like, another thing for me when I pick out a manga and a series, the reading experience is huge. If I have a bad reading experience with what it feels like in my hand, you know, with what it's like when I actually sit and read, if I don't enjoy it, I'll probably sell it. I'm kind of picky in that way. So yeah, Samurai Executioner. I don't even know if you guys on YouTube who only follow me on YouTube knew that I had Samurai Executioner. That's why you need to follow me on Instagram, people. HVL Manga. You would know these things. The next manga series that I dropped is another exceedingly controversial one, and honestly, whenever I post that I dropped this series anywhere or that I just didn't particularly love it, the amount of DMs and comments that I get is astronomical, and I'll probably get that in this video as well. That is Goodnight Pun Pun. So my main problem with Goodnight Pun Pun is that I went into the series having an expectation, and I think honestly, going into series with expectations is very, very, very dangerous because it honestly skews your opinion right off of the bat. You go in with a bias and you probably won't enjoy it as much, and that's exactly what happened with Goodnight Pun Pun. So I picked up the entire series because I found it for a good deal, and I expected to just be absolutely like mentally destroyed. Like I thought I was going to just be wrecked because that's what everyone says online. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick it up. I like weird stuff. When I started reading it, I was like, what? I was confused. I thought I was going to be emotionally and mentally destroyed, but I wasn't. I was basically following the life of, an individual from, childhood to adulthood. And, obviously, Pun Pun, who's our main character, he goes through some stuff. Like, I'm not saying that his life was perfect in any way, shape, or form, but it just didn't destroy me. And I got to, volume 4, and honestly, I was like, this isn't it for me. That's gonna get, Pun Pun, I'm gonna get heat. I'm ready. So the next manga series that I dropped was The Legend of Dororo and Hiyakimaru. Honestly, some of you may have not even known this manga was a thing. I really didn't either, and the only reason that I did is because I watched Dororo the anime, and I loved Dororo. Dororo is honestly probably one of my favorite animes that I've seen. I haven't watched a lot of anime, I'm gonna be honest, but I really enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, I need to find manga of this story. Now I know there is the original Dororo manga. I haven't actually ever picked that up. I just don't like the release. Getting back to reading experience, that thing is chunky. So I didn't ever pick up that original release, but then I found this release, The Legend of Dororo and Hiyakimaru by 7 Seas. So I picked up the first 2 volumes, and honestly, this, again, like Pun Pun, I went into the series with expectations. I thought the series was going to follow exactly how the anime, played out, and it was going to be the same storyline. And when I started reading the manga, I realized that it really wasn't. There were similar themes, and there were similar events that, the manga and the anime both went through, but it wasn't the same. And when I was reading the manga, I literally remember reading it and trying to connect what was happening back to the anime. And again, that's really dangerous because you almost then get blinded and almost don't appreciate how the story, the manga itself actually is, because you come in with this preconceptions of how it's going to be. That aside though, I think the art in that manga was really, really good. I think 7 Seas did a really great job with the art. I will say, again, 7 Seas is a little bit more expensive. I didn't love paying that, higher price tag for that volume, but again, The Legend of Dororo and Hiyakimaru went into it with an expectation, and when that expectation wasn't met, I kind of wrote the series off. So, my opinion, watch the anime. Dororo the anime, banger. So, the next manga series that I dropped was Cells at Work. So, I picked up this series for a couple reasons. One, because I did hear decent things about the series, and 2, I love anything medical. Honestly, part of me is why didn't I go into the medical field? Regardless, I love everything medical, and I was like, Cells at Work, medical, right? And I read the first couple volumes, and honestly, it was just okay. It was a lot of, it was like borderline like a textbook in a way. Like there was a lot of description of, you know, how things worked in the body and, you know, what different cells did, and all that sort of stuff. Which honestly for me, that was the interesting part. I definitely really enjoyed those kind of snippets. But I did notice when I was reading it, you know, I would read the main story and then I would read the description of what, you know, different cells were, you know, what different body parts did, and I would be like, kind of like distracted from the main plot, if that makes any sense. So I was like, reading the main story, read this description, wait, what happened in the main story? I was reading this description, like it was a little bit of a disconnect in that way. It also was just a series that didn't blow me away. And I really try to be intentional with the manga that I have in my collection. Like I only really want to keep like stuff that I actually really enjoy and see myself going back to. And I didn't ever see myself going back to Cells at Work. So I decided to sell it. I know there is an anime out. I haven't seen that. I definitely would be interested to see it. But yeah, Cells at Work, I dropped it. Controversial. So the next manga series that I actually completed the series but decided to sell, so I'm including this in this, that was Resident Evil. You guys are probably like, what the heck, you literally just got Volume 5, if you've seen my videos before. You literally just completed the series. That is true. So basically, I thought the series was good. It's basically like zombies and like biochemical warfare sort of stuff. So overall, I thought the series was good. I also really enjoyed the art. I think the art is really where that story shined, but honestly, when I got to the ending of the manga, I was really left unsatisfied. Basically, the manga is a precursor to the Resident Evil 6 video games, so it's almost like that manga was kind of like promotion for the video games, and they want you to play the video games, obviously, after you read the manga, so the manga really didn't have much of an ending, in my opinion. Like, it kind of wrapped up the main story, but it, like, didn't explain one of, like, the most mysterious parts of the entire story. So I was like, what happened? Because of that ending, or at least because of the lack of an ending, in my opinion, it kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth of that story. It was also, you know, out of print and kind of rare, so, you know, it kind of hurt to sell in a way. I was just disappointed in the ending. So the last manga series that I have, that I've dropped for this video today, that is Blood on the Tracks. So this is another very controversial take. I want to say I read volumes 1 through 4, and honestly, the main reason why I decided to drop this series is just because I wasn't blown away. Like, it is very psychological, and there are a lot of like messed up moments, but I was like reading it, it's kind of like Pun Pun. Like I went into it expecting to just be freaked out, and honestly some parts had me freaked out. I don't know if I've been desensitized to stuff, but I was just reading it and I was like, this isn't, like, it's weird, but not like edge of my seat weird. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I expected it to be. Again, this goes into the danger of having preconceptions of what the story will be when you go into the manga, so I was basically setting myself up for failure there. And I also, it was one of those things that I never really saw myself going back to. So yeah, Blood on the Tracks. Another controversial take. So guys, do you hate me? It's okay if you do. I mean, I'd rather if you didn't. But, it's okay if you do. So guys, again, that is today's video. I will say, if you haven't checked out the description box, please do. Follow me on Instagram at hvlmanga. I also have a TikTok now. I'm a little ashamed of myself, but I basically post daily on there. So if you want to see what I'm up to and you want to get more content from me, definitely check out my TikTok. Again, hvlmanga. I don't know, I thought this video would be fun, spark conversation. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.